Okay, an episode of Impact Wrestling for you. I'm sorry that I did not do an episode last week. As I've said before, I was not myself. And I can't really justify it. If I wasn't myself, there's just no way I can do a review of any wrestling. I was lucky I was able to do AEW, but I was just not myself. So, what we got here? This is at Mexico City, and I'm going to be honest here, guys. Every time Impact Wrestling goes to Mexico City, we don't really get a very good amount of content. I'm not taking anything away from AAA. This is not their fault. It isn't. Since Impact wants to work with another promotion, they don't do something that really makes it important beforehand. Like, on our end, we try to spend at least 3 weeks ahead of time setting up for going to Mexico City and making it mean something, having promos for AAA's own people, even if they got to use translators or use subtitles. They just don't do it. It's very rare you see anything from them. So on AAA's side, maybe they do set that up, which I believe Conan working with AAA, I believe they do that. But on our side, we just don't do it, and it just feels a bit blank. So once we go to AAA, you got people that, if you recognize them, like Murder Clown, I remember Murder Clown, he was pretty cool. Taurus, if I'm pronouncing his name right. I remember those two. And even Dr. Wagner Jr., I do remember him. But what about the rest of the people? They just don't set it up properly. So for me personally, it just feels a bit blank. And that's what this kind of felt like. Like a filler show. And I don't want to think it, but this is what it feels like. Now, the first match is Josh Mathews versus... this is a good one. Excuse me. Vikino. That's a name. And his clothes were pretty cool. Sort of, because he didn't have the Viking look. He looked like someone from the Game of Thrones. Now, I haven't really seen Game of Thrones, but he did look like someone who's from Game of Thrones. Just does. Was Vikino, I believe his name is Vikino. Mispronouncing it, I'm sorry guys, I'm bad with Spanish names. Or any names for that matter. But he was a good high-flying wrestler. He, at one point, I don't have the shot, he was outside the ring. Josh Mathews threw him into the guardrail. He jumped onto the guardrail, jumped over the guardrail, onto another rail that was over a whole bunch of fans, and then flipped back onto Josh Alexander. That I have not seen, and that was pretty damn good. He has great high-flying ability, and he was pretty tough. At one point, he got dropped on his damn head, and I'm sure that didn't feel very good. In the end, I was thinking... it would really, sorry for the crying guys, I was honestly thinking it would be good if he actually won this match and then he does something with maybe, well, I know they're not going to really do a tag match with this guy, another guy, and the North. But it would be something a little different to see one of AAA's guys in the very opening actually win. And he did. Now here's the thing, I'm actually glad he did. But does it actually mean anything? No. Unless they're going to do something extra for next week and he's going after Ethan Page, then it really doesn't mean a lot, particularly if he's not going to go after the Impact Tag titles and he doesn't have a partner with him. I'm just being honest here. Now, we had 2 tag matches on this show, which I was actually surprised. We don't normally get 2. We get maybe 1 most of the time. And then we get like a 6-man tag. But we got actually 2 tag matches. Now the first one was the Rascals versus Murder Clown and Pascado. I'm pronouncing his name wrong. Sorry guys, I'm bad. Since Trey was not there, because I understand Trey tried to get the match. Well, I understand last week of the situation that happened with Tessa Blanchard, Tyra Valkyrie, Trey, and Ace Austin. And Ace had another match with Trey, and again Trey loses. I don't know if his mother was there to try and add to it. I think his mother was not there, and he still lost. So I'm hoping they move away from Trey with this, because now you've already shown that Trey's gotten his ass whooped by Ace Austin. So it makes no sense to continue this unless you're going to do something outside of regular wrestling. In this match with Wentz and with... Look, I did enjoy the match. Dez is still my favorite out of all three of the Rascals. He just is. I believe he's the best high flyer they have between the three. And I'm not taking anything away from Wentz and Trey, but I do believe Desmond Alexander is the best. Not Alexander, I'm sorry, Xavier. I got that a little mixed up because of Josh Alexander, I'm sorry. I believe he's the best. But in this situation, what are we really getting from the Rascals? Rinse and repeat. And they're not really getting anything with the North. If this was a crossover with the North, it would make some sense, but it wasn't. And in the end, the Rascals win. But what did they win? They don't really win much. To be honest, I think AAA should have won here. Not saying that Pastado and Murder Clown are incredible, great wrestlers. Murder Clown was good. He was. But I do believe that Impact Wrestling does not give enough to AAA. I don't think they give enough to any of the promotions that they work with. I do believe there should be a balance where Impact Wrestling would lose all the matches and the other promotion would win it. Or at least try to balance it out that some Impact Wrestling matches are lost and then they have wins, and the other promotion has a loss and sometimes a win. It's almost all Impact, and it just feels quite stagnant, to be honest. The other match, we had Thornstoke and Luster the Legend versus Daga and Dr. Wagner Jr. with his son. Now, what was this guy's name? I'm going to try and pronounce his name properly, because he was Del Reno Le Mol. I believe that's right. I do not know. You guys can tell me if I messed up in Spanish. I didn't grow up speaking Spanish, even if I am part Spanish. Sorry, guys. But was this a good match? Yes. Dr. Wagner Jr., who I did not know, had won titles in AAA, New Japan Pro Wrestling, and the NWA, which I don't know if he was even in the WWF. He might have been. I don't know. Or maybe ECW for that matter. I don't know if he was for those other promotions or WCW, but it was interesting to know that he did win in those promotions. The guy's been around for quite a long time. He's like in his 50s right now, so he's practically done it all. And it was nice to see a good match. It wasn't perfect, but it was good. In the end, the faces win again. Well, I'll put it... No, actually, I take that back. The other guys win. With AAA and Impact Wrestling working together in this match. The Rascals were more like the bad guys compared to I'm just saying that in this situation, both Impact and AAA won together, but then you got OVE coming out and destroying Dr. Wagner Jr. and Draga. Maybe there was something I'm missing for last week. That would make some sense. But they got destroyed. I don't know why. Now, Falaba, we got several segments. Falaba got new ring clothes. And he was with TJ Perkins. Now, TJ is supposed to face someone next week. I don't know who it is. I didn't get the name, and I'm not even going to try. Even if I knew, I would butcher it. But now he's going to be having a match next week. And now Falaba's got new ring attire, which is cool. I'm alright with that. But why are they not a tag team going after the North? I want to see these guys as a real tag team going after the North. We have not seen them work together much in tag teams. And it should be with them working as a tag team. And I wouldn't mind seeing them win. 2 Filipino wrestlers going against the tag champions and winning would actually be a first. And I think Impact should go there. Not because they're 2 Filipino wrestlers, That's part of it, yeah. But you got Falaba, who's very entertaining. You got TJ Perkins, who's very good in the ring. You should be doing something. Come on. Then what was going on with Johnny Swinger and Willie Mack? I guess they teamed up last week. And now Johnny Swinger wants to be Willie Mack's... He wants to be his partner. And he says, no, I got one partner. I love you in ECW. You're just a creepy old man from ECW. But he worked good in ECW. So it's like, okay. Since I really needed the content, I didn't get it. What is Swinger going to do to try and convince Willie Mack while Rick Swann is still injured? I don't know if he's even going to go anywhere. Then you got Joey Ryan. So supposedly last week, RVD got upset because of something about Joey Ryan. Now I understand that Joey Ryan is surprised that RVD's mad at him or doesn't like what he's doing because he's thinking that Katie Forbes wants to touch the D. He's in my face. He pretty much said she wants to touch it. I know she wants to touch it. You know she wants to touch it. But in the end, you're scared that she wants to touch it because you're going to lose your woman. This is going to be a bit interesting. I don't mind seeing these two actually work together. I want to see the promos before they actually get into the ring. I want to see that Joey Ryan is going to make this interesting, saying, RVD, you're my man. I love you, but why are you getting scared? You shouldn't be afraid about your size because you're one of the innovators of ECW. You are extreme. The only thing you need to do is just play around a little bit more than what you normally do, even if it's only about this long. You don't need it this long because the only thing you need to do is just make sure that you do something extreme with it. That's what I want to see, but I don't know if they're going to go there. That's just me. Now, you had also a segment from Ace Austin wanting a new challenger. There's going to be a question what they're going to do with it. I don't know what's going to happen, and I'm worried that they're going to start sticking women on the X Division. Now, I'm not against the X Division having women in it, but it's got to be something that makes sense. And from what I understand, last week, things don't make sense, especially for the women right now. Look, we just had a tag match. Well, not a tag match. Well, in a sense, it was a tag match because we had a triple threat between I guess I'm botching is because the entire match felt meaningless. Jordynne Grace versus Madison Rayne versus Kiera Hogan, who I haven't seen in a while, in the ring trying to get the number one contendership, and it was a tag match, like a 2-on-1 handicap match. And then the commentators did not make the match mean anything, even with Taya Valkyrie at ringside. Look, I love me some Taya Valkyrie. You guys know I love me some Taya Valkyrie. Taya Valkyrie is the best. I love her. I want her. I want to marry her and have, well, not any kids. I just want to travel with her and just love her to death. But, sorry. That's just how I feel. But the match felt meaningless. And they were really trying hard to make the match mean something. And you can say a lot about Madison Rayne that she's not one of the best workers. You can say a lot about Kiera Hogan thinking that she's still too green. Honestly, I think they're both very good wrestlers. Madison Rayne's character is not that great. Kiera Hogan's character has been built up, but the problem is you don't see her much and they haven't done much with her. And then you got Jordynne Grace, who should have already been champ a while ago, but they didn't want to drop the belt to her. And this is what you got. This match felt like filler. It didn't mean anything when it should have, and these women really tried hard to make the match mean something, but commentators did not make it better, and Taya. I'm guessing Taya Valkyrie should have been at ringside, coaxing and trying to get those two that were tagging up to really make this mean something, and it just wasn't, and there you go. Moose versus Taurus. Was a good match. I like Taurus. Like I like Vikito, if I'm pronouncing the guy's name right. I really do wish that a lot of AAA guys would actually go into Impact more often, and that they sponsor them, they give them promos, and they give them matches. But we just don't get it. Hell, ROH is having a better time working with NWA than Impact with any of the other shows they work with. And that's saying a lot. NWA is not the most incredible show yet. They just rebuilt themselves, and I'm getting more out of NWA dealing with ROH and Marty Scurll than I am with this. The match was good. Moose did win. But I want to see Taurus on Impact and to be sponsored, to be given promos, to be given ring segments, to have a feud with somebody. I'm just saying. And if I'm forgetting anything, I'm sorry. Final match of the night. Look, guys, I like Eddie Edwards with Michael Elgin. They got great chemistry. Didn't we settle this? They're in my face. I don't know. Look, tell me below, is the best of 5 to try and see who has the right again to the Call Your Shot Cup. Tell me if I'm wrong. Because as far as I understand, this is not about the Call Your Shot Cup. This is about seeing who's the best there is. If I understand that correctly. Now, I'm sure many people will be happy with that. But honestly, what's going on with Tessa Blanchard dealing with Sami Callihan, I understand they just don't want to mix either one of these guys with Tessa yet. But I'm sorry. This feels blank. We need a title on the line with these two guys. Having the Call Your Shot title, well, in a sense, this is a title shot. The Call Your Shot Cup should be about this. That Eddie Edwards, who did have a segment and now made the cup a new Kenny, which I think he shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry. If anybody likes seeing a face on the cup, I just don't think it's necessary. He should have moved away from it. And I just don't think he needs a prop. He could do it himself if you really... Calm. If Eddie has become a real hardcore wrestler, he does not need a prop to get anywhere. His work and the way he talks should get him over. By him making the cup a new Kenny does not mean he's over. He is not Al Snow. Al Snow used Head not as a prop, but as a part of himself. Eddie's using the cup as a prop because he's not over enough. That's just the way I see it. Now, the match was great, if any stills have been showing. But in the end, next to Eddie passing out, which is not a bad thing, it showed Eddie is tough enough that he cannot just be beaten. The problem here is this. If the cup is not on the line again, and this is only about bragging rights, it's not enough. Particularly that, yes, we still have the story with Tessa Blanchard and Sami Callihan. And we still don't know why OVE attacked Dr. Wagner Jr. and Draga. Well, you could say the reason they're doing it is because Draga is Tessa's man. But they haven't said it on the show. Unless they're doing it on social media, which I don't really look at. That would make the only sense. But if they're going to do that, they should, and I admit this myself, you need to inject some reality sometimes. And if Draga's being attacked, you should have Tessa Blanchard be upset. And that the next show should have Draga and Tessa together, and that she's worried about him. This would make the best sense for that. Because as it stands now, nothing makes sense. The best of 5 makes no sense because it feels like filler. Seeing Wagner Jr. and Draga attack, you have to make it make sense for Tessa Blanchard since she was not on the show. Was this a good show? It was okay. But it still felt like filler. Now, I'm sure a lot of people realize it is filler, but you should make the other promotion mean something. Yeah, they had one win, and then they had 2 guys from both promotions, and they both won. It didn't feel like it was enough. AAA doesn't feel like it's being respected here. And to be honest, Impact Wrestling has never respected the other promotions. They work with them, but they never feel like they make them mean something. But this is just me. Have a good day, have a good night, and watch for my AEW review. And after that, the next day, my NWA review. Tell me below if you don't like that I do the NWA on Thursdays. Unfortunately, that's the only time I have. But tell me if you don't feel comfortable about that because it's too late. Because I'm wondering. Peace.